Boeing says the FAA approval for new safety updates to its software on the 737 MAX jets could come as early as next week, and this is important. Boeing also says a previously optional safety feature will become standard after two crashes of MAX jets that killed 346 people. Investigators this morning are still trying to determine why the MAX fleet was certified to fly in the first place. Our transportation correspondent Kris Van Cleave is here in New York with us. Good morning.
Good morning, and there are some big questions here. We're also learning overnight Ethiopian Airlines is pushing back against reports questioning its safety culture and pilot training. Two complaints were filed with the FAA back in 2015, but the airline says today they operate with the highest global standards of quality and safety. This as the focus is increasingly turning towards Boeing, which may be the subject of a criminal investigation.
Sources tell CBS News Boeing has been subpoenaed by the Department of Justice's fraud unit. DOJ is requiring the company to retain documents, records, and data related to the Boeing 737 MAX's approval process. The MAX fleet has been grounded for more than a week as investigators try to determine what led to two deadly crashes.
Our entire team stands behind the quality and the safety of the aircraft we design, produce, and support.
Boeing says it is making changes to its software on the MAX. The company announced it would now make standard an indicator light that warns pilots of a sensor malfunction that could cause its anti-stall system to activate unnecessarily. Investigators believe that anti-stall system, new on the 737 MAX, triggered on Lion Air Flight 610, repeatedly forcing down the nose of the plane, leading to last October's crash. The previously optional indicator light was not installed on the Lion Air 737 MAX that crashed or the Ethiopian flight that went down last week. A U.S. airline source says that feature would cost roughly $80,000 extra on a plane with a list price of about $120 million.
This problem should not have been that hard to diagnose.
The FAA's former director of accident investigations, Jeff Gazzetti, says whether or not the Lion Air pilots had access to that safety feature, they should have been trained to handle the issue.
The culture, it seems, of this airline in not aggressively handling the maintenance issues that were recorded, as well as the in-flight non-normal situations, tells me that there's something amiss with the system's safety of Lion Airlines.
The Department of Defense will also be reviewing all of its Boeing aircraft and its training practices for its crew. That includes Air Force One. This is out of an abundance of caution.
Chris, we all want to know, why was this blinking light, that safety feature, not automatically a part of the plane?
So this has been an available feature on the 737 since the late 90s. Boeing told me it was never particularly a bestseller. American Airlines has had it in all of their 737s since the 90s. What changed was the importance of these sensors and their link to this anti-stall system, which is brand new to the MAX. And it certainly sounds like, in hindsight, Boeing failed to appreciate the importance of those angle of attack sensors, the importance that both of them be linked to the anti-stall system, and that the pilots have a clear understanding of what's going on with those two sensors. They became optional to really important in the course of this update.
But in the meantime, I keep thinking about over 300 people lost their lives, seemingly now with what we're seeing now. When you see the plane go up and down that way, you know how terrifying that must have been for them. I don't understand why safety features are optional to begin with. It says here that Boeing charges extra for a backup fire extinguisher in the back.
Yeah, so
understand this, Chris.
There are mandatory required safety features, and then just like when you buy a car, if you want to go up a level, those things cost more money. Japan, for example, requires more fire extinguishers, so those airlines get charged more for fire extinguishers.
This is the difference between a luxury like leather seats,
Bingo.
right?
Absolutely.
And
exactly
then
right, Bianna.
Upgrades.
Absolutely.
All right,
we all
Chris.
want that light.
Yeah.
Thank
Very
you,
good
Chris.
to see you in person.
Thanks for having me.
Screen, have you at the table.